Okay, so same setup every time. This is exactly what I want you to do. Stop taking trades early instead of reacting off of order blocks. Because what you're doing, and uh, I used to do the same thing. I'm just trying to get a trade off of something that hasn't actually tested the order block yet. The trades are not going to work out that often. They really won't. They'll work out every now and then. That's probably why you do it. But the likelihood isn't going to be that likely. You need to be taking trades off of order blocks or at least fair value gaps, because the thing is, this scenario hasn't even tested the fair value gap anyway, so this is one you just shouldn't have been in regardless. Sorry, I'm just going to change all your stuff here. Sorry about that. 75. Cool. Okay, so you're either taking it off of the fair value gap or the order block. I'd prefer if you just did the order block every single time, but it realistically doesn't matter which one you go for. And then the other thing is obviously exterior direction. Some of the trades you're taking, it's off of something. For example, let's say exterior direction is down. You're taking a long just because we closed two interior highs, when exteriorly we're going down. We're just 5 minute range closed, 5 minute range closed, holding off of this range here. We got higher low, holding off that to go down. I'm judging this off of the I think of the last trade you took, which was after this. I think you took a long here because you closed two highs. It's the same thing here. Just because you close two highs, the exterior direction is down. You wait for things like this to hold. If you're going for a long, you wait for this to be closed above. You don't take a long off of an interior break when exteriorly you're going on the opposite direction. So a couple of trade examples I'll just do for you every single time. Sorry, I'll do a couple of examples of what I want you to do every single time. Okay, let's say exterior direction is down. We're waiting for price to come up to here. We're not just taking a short off of something if it gets to like here, or if it gets to like, if we was trying to short here or something. We're waiting for the order block to get tested. If it never gets tested, we're waiting for an internal break, which is confirming we're not going up to the exterior order block. So I'd wait for here. Interior range breaks, no longer telling us it needs to go up to here. Once this breaks, we're looking at this range to be retested into now instead of the one up there. Never gets tested, but then we get the same thing again. Interior range here. This order block's fine. If you don't want to take that, that's fine. You would then just wait for the next thing. So if this closed, this order block here, if it tested up into here, you can take that. It's just you're taking order blocks every time, not anything in between. A couple more examples of what I want you to do. All the way up here, right? Failing to go higher. Didn't close the higher, no reason to go higher. Just because we closed this here doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. If you're getting a trade like this, I'm pretty sure you did. This might be one of your trades. If you are, you need to accept your target is literally the opposing order block. So you'd be targeting this. This is still fine if you got lower and it was around 1R or something, but if you took something like that, maybe you don't want to take that. The body, it's only 0.6, but both of these scenarios are exactly what I want you to take. You got the higher breaks, order block, take that, cool, but realize the direction is down. If you knew the direction, this would have been your perfect setup. You close here, needs a retest up to the order block. You take the candle that tested the order block and you take that for 1 hour. You're literally taking it to here. Same thing really. If there was a scenario to take a short off of here, you would have, and the thing is there is. Order block right. Midpoint of this order block not gained, so no reason to get in a trade. Midpoint of this order block gained, reason to get in a trade. Failed the high. High hasn't been closed. If you don't feel comfortable with that, go for the low of it, and then you're just targeting 1 hour, which is where it should flip anyway. So we're just looking for failure to continue up, reasons to continue down. Reason here is we're closed here. Order block needs to get tested back into. It does here. Move on, look for some more examples. Closed here. This instance, it didn't close until here, and by then, what's happening? So, well, no midpoint of a candle we've got gained, so you're not really trying to get a trade off of this if you thought it was going to go down in this moment. There's not really much examples in that range, but there is an example here. Closed, fair value gap. If you want to take it, so I'm saying if, I would really prefer if you take reacted off the order block. If you wanted to take this, what is tested into it, right? Here's your trade. You're targeting 1R, so your trade would be here to here, and that's literally it. This is what I'm saying. If you're in the right trade, it should. You should be out before it even flips, and you are wrong on direction. If you're taking the right things, if you're not, you're gonna keep losing. Next thing, alright. If we actually get some real levels here, we can start to look at. Start to look at some real examples of exterior direction as well. Let's just choppy range. We can just go from here. Yeah, we'll go from here. We'll see if there's anything in the 5 minute. Cool. Okay. So on the 5 minute, right, we close the slow. The slow's been closed. So what we can do is we can be long, a long-term bias into up here. So anything interiorly going against that, we know that it should only momentarily flip direction on the other side. So until we get to this point, we're trying to cycle up to it, right? So 5 minute low, also 15 minute low taken out. If we are going to continue down, we need a cycle up to this order book first. This is interior, an interior range. So kind of all we're expecting from this range is just to come down to these order blocks, to then at some point break above it, get to the actual exterior target. When you have a interior range inside of an exterior range, it's not going to do much. It still can break down. You see it all the time where interior ranges do break down straight off of the first test, but a lot of the times that's where you get choppy price action sideways, because it's trying to get to that exterior target before it goes down. So if we knew that, right, what we're doing is it is shorting. It's probably not going to short all the way down yet, because we've not got to our target. So if we was looking for some confirmation on the 1 minute time frame, we would go 5-minute midpoint of the order block. We got the 5-minute order block here. Just gonna change these lines real quick. Okay, we got 5-minute order block. My bad, I just had to pause that. But okay, we got the 5-minute order block. We got the 1-minute order block here. So we're waiting for this to get tested into, right? Once it gets tested into, well, we can't even take a trade until the midpoint of this gets tested and gained. We get in target 1R. That's our 1R target, knowing full well it can come all the way down to here, but like we said, this is the current strategy I want you to do, this 1R. We're taking that knowing full well it's probably only going to come down to here before it goes higher, because we haven't got to our exterior target yet. So this is what I mean about if you're targeting, if you're going against direction exteriorly, going against exterior direction because of interior stuff, you're not getting that all the way down to here or anything. You need to know the likelihood of the trade failing when you're going against direction is a lot higher than if you have to take a trade off of something at the exterior target. So what can we look at in all these ranges here? We have loads of order blocks, loads of highs, loads of lows. If you're doing the same thing every single time, even if you're wrong direction, you should be able to get a trade. Just look on the 5-minute, for example. We've closed higher. This activates this order block. We've not got the target yet. Okay, cool. Once we gain the midpoint of this candle, we should be able to get 1R out of that, right? Because we're actually getting the right trade. We're getting the right trade. Same thing here, right? We're getting the right trade. We closed here. This should momentarily flip direction. Comes up to the order block. Okay, so we're entering at the right position, the order block, not something further down. Okay, let's do a couple of candles. Same thing again, right? Same thing again. Let's go on a 15-minute real quick. That candle hasn't been tested. 5-minute low shallowly got missed. It's close enough to say it's been tested if you want. If not, you're taking a trade base off of this, saying, okay, we still haven't got to that. If we thought it was still going to go up, let's take a trade with that in mind. So even if the trade fails, which it does in this scenario, you still get 1R. You still get 1R. What would tell us if this is actually failing, doesn't need to go higher anymore, is if we start closing these. So what you can do is you can stay out these trades if you want, or you can go for a trade because of this. Close low, test it back up into here. We'll take the midpoint of this candle. This is what I'm saying, you don't have to be right in direction for a long period of time. It's 1R. That's just generally all you need to do. Wait for the low, wait for the order block, wait for the midpoint of an order block, or the body. If you want to start targeting the body, that's perfectly fine, because once you gain the body, it's a lot more likely that it's not going to fail over the midpoint. So that's another entry setup or what you can do. Either do the body or the midpoint. Body or midpoint. Kind of gauge how it looks in the moment. So once we see this here close, this already closed, this is the order block for that, it keeps failing. Okay, this is closed, this is the order block you're looking to get tested into. So if we get any trade setups, we can take something, and this is what I'm saying about you barely have to be in the right direction and you probably get a win. 1 hour before it flips down. So you just, if you're taking the right things and you're wrong on direction, you should at least be able to get trade still. Sometimes direction isn't everything, setup is everything. But I still want you to get better at direction, obviously. In this case, direction is right anyway, but you get the point. So now we're at that target. What I'd wait for, because it's kind of had a couple of attempts in the high of the range, but now we're at the order block. But what I'm waiting for is a bay range to be closed. We've gone the 1 minute, right? First test here. If you want to, you wait for this. You wait for this to get closed. If not, to start to see if lows are getting closed. Okay, lows are getting closed. Right, loads of them are. We'll close this here. We haven't tested back into it, so we're waiting for this order block to get tested to take a trade. Once it does, we're looking at the midpoint. Take the midpoint, target 1R. How far does it have to go? Nowhere. Even if it fails, you're already at the trade. This is what I'm saying, it should be so easy to make money with a sub. I don't really see a world where it fails. Only reason it failed for you today is, like we say, you wasn't taking the order blocks. Same thing again. Test the order block, right? Close, test order block. Even if your trade fails because you're wrong on direction. In this instance, this didn't get tested, but the body did. Even if you're wrong direction, you should have been out of trade. Filled for 1R, and it goes up. Okay. Candles are pretty choppy, so I'm just going to move back onto the 5 minute for a few more examples. Okay, so exteriorly, there's no reason why we should feel the need to change our direction if we thought direction was down, because we haven't closed this order block yet. We closed the midpoint, haven't closed the order block though. So I look at the open has been tested. I've gotten the 1 minute. It's been tested. The low is really far down, so you have to start looking at interior ranges. One interior range has been closed because it's an interior range, and the exterior range hasn't been closed yet. I'm using that as a bait range to see if we can proceed with the trade down. In this instance, right, you closed the low for this order block, and that didn't work out. You wouldn't even have been able to get a trade off of it because you didn't gain anything until here. But at this point, I wouldn't be trying to get into a trade because it's clearly failing. So let's just keep moving forward. I'm actually just gonna scrap this whole range because it looks really choppy. Let's just move forward. More examples. Where did the candles look better? Candles look better here. So we've got daily level tested. What we're waiting for. If we want to confirm direction trying to change to go higher, we're waiting for this. If we wasn't already here, I'd be waiting for the price to come down because I'd be targeting here because this exterior range got closed to target the order block for it. This is what I'm saying, if you're wrong direction, it's going to be times where you will just lose. But you should win before you are actually wrong. Before you get stopped out, sorry. Wrong a direction in the moment, but you still get a win. I mean, you are right on direction. If you had your stop loss all the way down here, you know, you'd be right on direction. But this is what I'm saying about the exterior direction, in my opinion, in this instance is down. We're seeing if this interior range is going to hold to break the exterior higher, to flip the direction up, and kind of disregarding the fact that we broke this, but this is still going to bring us down to here. This is why if price was to come up to here, you could short that down. Highest fair value gap tested into. If you're comfortable with taking the fair value gap, you could have taken this. Like I said, I'd prefer if you just take the order block and miss all the other trades. You're going to miss a lot of trades, but I think it would just be better for you. Is there a reason to go for this? We didn't close the low, so not really. I'd rather you miss out on this. Lows have been closed for this, so you can take that. And let's see if you would have got 1R. Of course you would have. I've done the wrong thing, but you still would have got 1R. Cool, because you wait for the low to get closed and then they test off the order block. You close the actual low, right? So this is kind of telling us this is failing. We close that low. So once we test here, our target should be all the way down to here. Once we close there, we're looking to see if we can get any price action back up to the order block to then take a trade off of it. If that's our target, we can start looking for longs up to that point, if there is any. So would I have been able to get a trade here? Well, this didn't close. This is what this is the examples I'm talking about. Bait ranges. The first range to flip direction, don't get into them. I've seen a lot of times where you've got into trades because one high has been closed, even though direction's down. You need to see a lot more to actually say we're flipping direction momentarily. So 15-minute time frame real quick. Cool. So your 15-minute exterior target was here. We closed that, right? We can come all the way up to here before we continue down, which is exactly where I said you can come to once we close here. So once we get a couple of highs break, we can confirm that we're trying to get up to here. And we kind of already got up to there before that happened. So you kind of judge if you want to start taking shorts at that point. 5-minute order block, not tested, so you can still go higher. So what you can look at here is this closed. We can use this as a bait range because we're not too sure if it's going to go higher. So we'd be looking at right here. In this candle before this one, I would have been looking at, can we close here? That's confirmed to me the bait range is holding to try and get a long up after this range has been broken. But you can kind of already see it's enough, right? Because you've got close, close, close. This is kind of telling you you don't need to go higher here. So with that being said, close here. Use this as a bait range. This is the first range that closed after we came all the way up. Is this going to hold or not? If it does, enter off the next range. This closed. Did it test the order block? No. So you missed the trade. That's fine. If you're comfortable with fair value gaps though, maybe you got in the trade. I wouldn't have, because you closed it. What can you do from there then? Okay, so you never trade up to here, but you close the next range. If something traded up to here, I would have been happy if you taken that. The actual order block being there. So if this fails here, we can come all the way up to here, because this is the order block for this low. Broke out. So we're looking for some bait ranges to hold. So we closed the high. This high closed before this low. So we don't care about these lows closing yet. We're seeing if price can come down to here and hold. No longer looking at that anymore, because now we've closed this high and this high. So if we can test back down, then we can look for a trade. But we have got to that first order block, but that should just flip direction down to where we should go to. Once we get to the point, and then we take our trade, because it's bounced off of the order block. We take that for 1 hour. We're at the trade already. Cool, so we should still continue up. This got tested, so we're looking at this is the next point. If we blow this next point, we can continue up. Cool. I blew the next point. So no reason to go down yet. You missed this trade because it never went to the order block. This is what I'm saying. If you're comfortable with the fair value gap being held, go for it, sure. If not, then you're gonna miss a few trades, which doesn't really matter. You're gonna get a lot of it go to the order block in the day. Now we got to here, we can flip down that. It's just as simple as it is. Test it. Closed. Exterior. Low closed. Order block here. Testing up into it. And just like that. Take the midpoint of this candle. The one that tested into the order block. 1 hour. Just to the gaining of the candle. Very interior range here. What does that mean? You can take this order block. Next trade off the same thing. We haven't hit anything yet. Interior range. This is the next order block. There's your next 1 hour. Closed, coming off of a daily. The daily is not what I really care about. It's where's the next range? This range never got tested, so this range could flip us up to the next order block. Doesn't, it's perfectly fine. This order block didn't get tested. I'm kind of looking at what's the higher time frame saying? So this closed, and then we never retested back down. So the lowest range on the 1 minute. So this is the point I'd be looking at if we're going to get that flip in direction up. If you did actually go for that, you still get 1R. That's what I'm saying. If you're entering the right positions, you should still get 1R. Let's say you decide to go off of this order block, off of this range. I'm sure you would have still got 1R because you went off of an order block. You still would have got 1R because you went off the right position. You can be wrong on direction. This is what I keep saying. You can be wrong on direction, still win because you're trading off of the right thing every time. Even if it goes nowhere, your trade doesn't have to go anywhere for you to make something. This is how far it has to go. I can't remember where this one is, but I'm pretty sure it was... Go further down. This is how far this one has to go. It has to go nowhere. Just trade off at the right point, which is the order block. This one didn't get tested after closing, so yeah, fair enough if you try to go for that. This is the actual one because this is the lowest one in the 5 minute range, right? This is the best one to go for, but they still both work. We're looking to go down, but you can still take a long up. And if you haven't hit that low target yet, which we closed here, right? We didn't close there actually, it was on the 1 minute, wasn't it? Close there, right? Okay, so our target should be down here. If you don't want to take a long because your target is lower, then don't, but you still can. The actual order block of the range is coming up. The fair value gap is fine. If you don't want to take fair value gap, wait for 2 ranges to break if your direction is still down. You want 2 bait ranges to say that exterior direction is changing, and well, that's what I go for. 2 closed, right? So I want you to test down. One after there. So this is confirming we're trying to get all the way back up to here. .5 minute time frame. Failed to get higher. Okay, if it's failed to get higher and we still haven't hit lower, let's wait for that bait range to hold. Haven't tested. Closed. Haven't tested. These are the type of trades I see you go for. They do work out. Sometimes. A lot of the times they normally spike high, get you out, and then go, and then you decide to do it again the next day. 'Cause I used to do the same thing. If you're not waiting for the right thing, you're gonna get a stupid loss. Because these can still work out, but look, it doesn't. Because you didn't wait for the right thing. Okay, so right thing gets tested. This is what I'm saying. If you're on the right thing, a lot of the times you should be able to get a trade before any bullshit happens where you get stopped out when it goes down. Because you're only targeting at 1R. So you're in here, it goes here and you're already out. And then you can get a continuation, or sorry, you can get the same trade again, because in my opinion we're still going to go down. That's okay, we've come up to the midpoint now. If you want some more confirmation, because it kind of looks like it might be failing because we closed the midpoint of the candle, wait for this range to foul, because that's kind of the bait range, right? Wait for that to foul and then price to come back up to here. And then get the midpoint of the candle. Midpoint of the candle. Is this your first loss you would have taken? Yes, it would have shallowly missed you if you was going to take a re-entry now. I've said this to Isabel, I don't think I've said it to you, but big candles, I don't really tend to take them because it has to go so far down to actually gain it. But you know, that would have been the first loss of trying to get 1R. Okay, breaking this, we should still go higher. We closed, this is the order block. We can still go higher before we go lower. So we can start looking for some reasons to go higher. Closed, okay. We got to the point now. We got to where we needed to get to. So we're taking the trade. 1R. 1R's done. Cool. So now we're looking to close the lows down to confirm that we are going lower. Because we closed here, new target is the low that brought us up, so we need to close this. We could momentarily flip direction at the bottom, but I would rather wait for this to break and then take longs up. There's the momentarily flipping direction, okay, when then it goes up. So if you thought it was going to go down because of we closed here, this is trying to take us down. Once we fell here, no reason to go lower anymore. It's failing to go lower. To get this massive pump up, this is 230 anyway. Like I said, you still get those flips and directions you can take. This is another instance, what I'm talking about, big candles I don't really tend to take. You could have taken it in this instance and it would have worked out, but I wouldn't have. Close here so we can get some direct test down into this order block or this Fair Valley gap. No reason to go lower. We closed this high, new range. Take the order block even if it's fouls. You would have been out of trade already. 1R right there. That's all you have to do. You essentially have to be alright for two minutes. Now we got to the order block, the actual point, so we can take the trade again. One R, literally has to go to here. Has to go nowhere. A lot of trades, you're gonna miss out on a lot of profits, but it's 10 times more. It's 10 times better doing this than trying to always target so far and getting break even all the time. Close here, so we can trade up. I think these are a lot of the things you're losing on. Is not waiting for the exterior. Like I keep saying, you're not waiting for the exterior targets to be tested. Closed here. I feel like a lot of the times you're looking for trades like this. We've closed a low. This interior range after closing the exterior. And then you're looking for things coming off of this order block and taking a loss off of it. For example, something like this. Maybe you saw this as the order block. Oh, we got a swing higher before this candle shoots up. Let's take that down. So I don't know, like here or 1R is just there, but yeah, that might have worked out. It might have got there beforehand, but that's besides the point. Is you're taking a lot of your trades based off an interior break, when exteriorly you should still go higher. Once you get to the exterior target, then you can take those shorts. But until that point comes, realistically you should be taking longs. This range isn't going to do anything. We still need to go higher. So look for those bait ranges to hold. This range held. Once it holds, we have a very exterior range here that can hold us. So we wait for the order block to hold, we take the midpoint. We still think we can go high up to here, or you know, sweep the top, whatever. Or even if we just gain the candle I got in at, I'm at the trade already. Once we get to that, now we can start shorting down. So look for interior ranges. You can enter off of anything until you get to the target. Once you get to the target, you're not looking to take any of the interior ranges anymore, because you closed out. You should come up to here before you go down again. And these are the type of losses that you'll be taking if you do that. Taking a short here off of nothing. You know, if this did lose, this isn't really anything. The actual target's here. Taking a loss here, or sorry, here, because you closed this. This is not going to do anything. The target's here. Let's see if there's another example of that type of loss. Okay, so we need to come up to here, right? We need to come up to here because we closed here. Prime example. You're trying to take a short here. You've not got to your target. Why are you trying to short? You're going to take a loss. Let's see if you would actually taken a loss with the 1R strategy. Luckily, no, actually no, you would have taken a loss. If you went for the body, if you went for the midpoint, no, you wouldn't have got stopped out. Luckily, but we don't want to be lucky. We want to be, you know, we want to be right. But yeah, these are the type of losses you're taking. You're not getting the exterior. You're getting the interior. When the interior should only flip direction for a couple of minutes before getting to the exterior. And these are the type of interior things you're taking. Ranges like this, holding off of interior things. Once you close a low, and yeah, direction short, but it's going to long all the way up before you go down. But you're taking interior shorts and getting them nowhere and getting stopped out. They're not going to work out if you've not got to your target yet. You're longing until you get to here. Once you get here, you can short again. You don't short off of interior stuff unless you've hit target and then you've started closing things. Like for example, in this moment, hit target, right? Let's say you closed here. I'm pretty sure you did. You didn't, but let's say we closed here and then this came up to here, this tested this, and then we had a smaller range, let's say the lows here, and then we come down, we close below here and the order box here. This is an interior range to take lower because we've not got to our target yet. We wait for things to foul before we say we don't have to go higher anymore. You have to wait a long time before that, because you got to think, right, well, this came all the way down, we closed the higher, so there's still no reason to break lower before we get up to here. So we have to wait for a lot more. For example, if this interior range is going to actually hold, well, I want to see this go, and I actually want to see it hold beforehand, and then I can take something off of it. But once we get here, I think it will flip long again to attempt to get back up, because we closed the higher. Once we closed the higher, we never came down yet. So this is it. Your trade is going to not work out if you're doing things like this. Okay, so we closed here, right? We closed here. This tested up. We haven't tested the order block. Order block has not been tested. We can still go lower. Fair Valley Gap has. Make up your mind if you want to take that or not. It's up to you. Order block hasn't been tested. Order block is going to be the more likely thing that's going to get tested and flip direction. So in this instance, we can still go lower. We can take our 1R trade because we know our direction should be on point until we get out for 1R. Once we get here, and let's flip long again because we haven't got to our target. We close the higher order block here. None of this movement down means anything in the grand scheme of things. We're not moving down yet. We still need to go higher. So we can take longs until we get to that point. Wait to see this order box failing to no longer say we have to go to here. What we're waiting for to see if that's failing, this order block should take us up to here. If this closes this range, it's probably failing. Cool. So we can long all the way up until this point, but if we fail this, we can no longer long. We can now look at shorts and say we no longer have to go here. So technically, if that order block fails, that should have ran us up to the order block, fails, and then there's no reason to go to the exterior target. Just see it like that. But yeah, anyway, I think that's enough rambling. You get the point. Just take the order blocks, even if you're not the best at direction. I know you are. You're just taking interior ranges when exteriorly you've got it wrong. But even if you are, if you're taking the order blocks, you should still be able to get wins. You should still definitely be able to get wins if you're doing the right thing. You're waiting for the low, you're waiting for the high to get closed. You're taking the order block, even if it doesn't go far, you should be able to get something. For example, right, last thing, we closed here, so we can come up to here. These are the ranges you're taking. These are the ranges you're taking after the close. It tests there, but even if you're wrong on direction, you should still be able to get something. Let's say there was no wick here. This is the candle, the midpoints around here. You should still be able to get something. You still be able to get 1R, but you're wrong on direction. Exterior targets up here, right? Just remember that. If you've closed a low, don't take a random stupid range interiorly. Wait for the real thing. But that being said, you should still be able to get a win out of it if you're taking the right thing. Be in the order block. But yeah, anyway.